Now, some people are doing the mistake of marrying that reason of moving with thinking it like a job change. This is a multi-generational decision. No opportunities. I think opportunities in Canada are slowly opening up. They were not necessary. You have to have Canadian experiences.
Welcome to Frontline and Chai. So today we are with Shondeep Chaudhary. Say hi to the viewers. And he is an immigrant corporate leader with 25 years of leadership experience and an advocate of newcomers' success. He's a mentor, coach, creator of the Compass Guide. This is a YouTube channel which I'll give you the link below. You must go and subscribe to it, and you can find a lot of helpful videos for your if you want to come to Canada. Question that we like to address right in the beginning. What is it that attracts immigrants to Canada? What is it so much about Canada that people are willing to give their left hand, their right hand to come to Canada?
I think over the period of time, the reason has changed. Everybody has their own reason. However, I think over the period of time, that reason has changed depending on where they are. And I think the biggest reason that I have seen people coming in is for quality of life. I think the quality of life, work-life balance, and also, Canada is one of those countries which gives you a safety net. It gives you a classic place of upbringing your family, especially with so much unrest going on across the world, across so many different lines. I think Canada is still one of those countries which is standing tall on human values, on quality of life, on work-life balance. And I think those are the main reasons why more and more immigrants are choosing Canada.
So, what I'm saying, also thinking is that Canada is exactly not a land of job opportunities, because we all know that Canada is not exactly throwing away jobs and coming here. They think that Canada is a land of opportunities, but after coming here, you have to work like crazy. You have to work in the gas stations, you work as a laborer, and the job opportunities here are as bad as any other part of the world. Right. So why would people risk that factor, leaving their plush jobs back home, as vice president of a company, as president of a company, and they come here and they start working as laborers. They do that. Engineers are coming here, doctors are coming here, doctors are driving taxis, driving Uber. There's so many doctors who have met who have not qualified, to have a qualification in Canada to practice medical. So they come here and they start driving Uber. So what is it that is crazy? People, why do they come?
I would say there are two parts to your question, two answers to your question. One is Canada a place for job opportunities? Now, Canada is comparatively a much smaller country among the G7 countries. It is also one of those countries where the opportunities are limited because of the population is limited. At the end of it, Canada only has 35-37 million population. So if somebody looks at Canada and thinks it is US, that would be a very wrong thing to do.
What do you mean by that, US?
In terms of the size, in terms of the open market size, in terms of the US being the largest economy of the world, and the sheer size of American population. Right? So today, from a job opportunity perspective, I think what needs to be looked into is you cannot really compare, a US or a growing market with Canada. However, we have to remember that Canada is still the fastest growing G7 country in the world. It's the fastest population growth happening in this country. Now, question the point that you just made, that why are people coming, leaving their plus jobs and then coming here and struggling? Now, I think there are two parts to this piece, because I'm like right now 15 years in this country, and I've seen this gradual movement that has happened, and I know people who have come here in 1990s and how that whole thing has failed. So I think two parts to it. One, why people are leaving their past jobs and coming here, I think it's more about the future. It's more about future because they are seeing some more difficulties. Jobs and money is not the real reason for which they are thinking they are moving. They're actually thinking of moving because they want their kids to have a better environment.
Yes.
And that environment is not just climate, but an environment of also socio-political scenarios across the globe. And as simple as that, it's more human resource, human value. Now, some people are doing the mistake of marrying that reason of moving with thinking it like a job change.
Yeah.
Which I think is not the right approach.
Exactly.
Because my belief is that this decision that people are taking, this is a multi-generational decision.
Yeah.
This is a decision which next 150 years their kids are going to be here.
Yeah.
So you cannot consider a 150-year-old decision with a job change decision. This is not a sheer job change decision that you're taking. Second, why people are coming, why there are no opportunities, I think opportunities in Canada are slowly opening up. There were two reasons for which people had to come here and do our jobs, mostly. One, because people who were recruiting, who were in the hiring manager level in this part of the world, in Canada specifically, they did not have enough exposure of immigration. So they didn't know where people are coming from, what kind of background they're coming from. And then Canada also is a very restrictive country in terms of what they allow you to do. And by restriction, the original thought process was to maintain standards. So that anybody and everybody cannot just come in and practice anything. I'm from banking. You cannot just come here and start advising people. You have to go through a licensing regime to go through that. Similar is the mention that you just did about medical doctors, about any other profession, engineers for that matter. So Canada believes in that standardization. However, the flow of number of people and the standardization is definitely creating bottlenecks. And those bottlenecks are the responsibility of the government, the corporates themselves, and individuals who are coming. All of their responsibility to take care of it. Now, over the last 15 years, have I seen things improving? I can say yes. I can tell that out of at least 3 or 4 professions whom I mentor a lot, I have seen where people, say for example banking and financial services. 15 years back, it was absolutely impossible to think that somebody from Southeast Asia comes in with say 10, 15, 20 years of experience and can start anything above a teller. It was impossible to think. But today, I can see people coming in and joining as branch managers today. I can see people coming in and joining as vice presidents today.
So what are the qualifications do they need to join directly
I
as a
think
branch
more
manager?
than qualification. I think what I see is that people need to be prepared. People prepared in a way, as I said. First is, this decision is not a job change decision. So you have to understand that you are moving into a country and into a space which is completely alien to you. So your job is not just to focus on what you have done, but your job is also to focus on what the hiring manager is looking for.
Yeah, but how will you know about it?
Because
sitting back home.
That's when you have to do your research, right? You have to understand. You see, this problem that I see back home, you have a natural, and whatever your home is, it need not be India, it can be anywhere which is not a part of North America. What has happened is, you have unknowingly, you would have your own network. Which you have grown, right? Because you either would have had your family, or you would have had your friends, or you would have had your initial colleagues, and then you would have your bosses. Most of the career path moves with your friends, or your colleagues, or your bosses. So you do not understand that why you are moving the jobs for your, which skill sets are you really focused on. And primarily because India has such a huge population, or that part of the world has such a big population, within a very short period of time, you actually become a generalist and a people manager, then a specialist. Now this part of the world is a specialist country.
Yes, that is very important.
People do not understand.
Very important.
People do not give value to people management skills over your actual skill set of the job. Now that's the biggest gap that I see. That when somebody from India or Southeast Asia, 10-15 years of experience, has already got a certain designation,
Yeah.
if you ask them what do you really do, it becomes very difficult for them to answer that.
Yeah.
And I myself gone through that whole thing. I was a vice president myself. So I had to go through all these learnings to understand that where do I really fit my skill sets? Because it's not about what my designation is. And just for you to also for people to know, whoever's going to listen or see this video.
What do you want to do in
Yeah,
life?
do not go by designations. So don't go by designations. Your designation could be whatever. In a country like India, where each corporate wants their people to show that they are growing, they would give you designation after designation to move on.
Yeah.
20 years back, 25 years back, a designation which was a branch manager is currently called a vice president. So don't go by designations of what you, because it carries, you bring that weight on your head.
Yeah.
You do not do that here. Here nobody cares about designation. Here
Nobody
it's
cares
about
about
two
this.
things.
Yeah.
What are your skill set? What can you deliver? And how much do you want?
Yes.
And it's all very fair. If you are in this particular type of work, if this is what your skill set is, this is what you get paid.
Yeah.
If you want more out of that, you go more professional way. You do not have to restrict yourself. This country allows you to have multiple jobs. This country allows you to have multiple way of earning money.
Yeah.
You can, and sky is the limit. However, what it gives you is also a social safety net. It gives you a pension. It gives you a social safety net if you lose your job. But most importantly, it teaches you to be humble.
Yes.
It teaches you to be grounded. It teaches you that you are not the only thing around where what everything goes around. It's about the society. It's about
Like your
everybody else.
ego is completely broken down when you come
You
here.
shouldn't
because-
have ego.
Yeah,
The
because
reason is-
people come with bloated ego.
Yeah,
Like
so-
they are served, in their
So
part of
I
the country.
always say this, that if two immigrants, who actually immigrants,
Yes, who is the
somebody who is either very successful
one? Yeah.
and believes that they have much more to achieve. That's one group of people. The other who believes they have a lot of potential but they're not getting the best out of it. These are two types of people. I'm not even going to the refugees who are
No.
forced to be.
No, that's fine.
These two people, which means these are people who are actually either successful or very capable. So when you get an immigration, I understand the euphoria. I understand the how you feel accomplished. But what I always say is, getting that accomplishment is great. Pat your back, have a party, have a drink, but very next day start working towards making it a success. I talk to immigrants almost every day. It's because that is my way of giving back. That's how I give back
To the society.
to the society. And I don't talk about things which I have not seen myself. I talk about things which I see myself and I've gone through myself. And that's where I believe that preparation is the key. And the preparation
Yeah.
starts with knowing yourself.
Knowing yourself. What you want. What you really want to excel in life and what skill sets you have.
And Kaveri, a lot of times it is not just about that. It's also about knowing what you can do.
Yeah,
What
and
you
that
have
you
done.
find out slowly when you come to Canada with the vast expansive opportunities that is there. You actually start sharpening your skills and you find out, okay, I can do this, I can do that. Walk on the rooftop and one fine morning and shout that you are the vice president of your company. And you create a company, you launch a company, and you are the president of your company, or CEO of your company. And nobody really thinks, oh my God, did somebody hire you? Why should somebody hire? Right? That's the nice thing about Canada, which I have found.
Yep.
So what I think is that since Canada, is very open to the immigrant market, there is people are encouraged to follow their own religion, follow their own culture. There is practically an Indian store, a Sri Lankan store, specified groceries available all over in every corner of the city. So why do you think Canadians have to struggle? What kind of struggles do they have to do?
I think if you are someone who has just got your immigration and you are planning to move, any decision in life has a buyer's remorse. You should be prepared for that buyer's remorse. Because what would happen is your initial euphoria will get over once you come in. And very quickly you understand that the cost of living here is high. And that's the reason why quality of life is so better. Because you cannot expect your standard of living to be of India with 2 maids and a driver and have expenses of India too. You cannot have that, right? So you cannot have both worlds.
So what do you mean by the quality of life? If I might be like just to interrupt you here. Because in India we have, like you said, cooks, drivers, 2
That's
maids.
standard of living. That's not quality of life.
Okay.
So to give an example, so when I left India, as I said, I was the vice president of a multinational organization. I, like anybody else, I had my own place, I had my drivers, I had my cooks. But that was standard of living. What was quality of life? I used to leave home at 7 o'clock in the morning, I used to come home at 10:30 at night. You know?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize when my son became 9 years old. I thought that I had a fantastic family life, but after coming here, I realized no. I used to, in my college days, I used to sing, I used to recite, I used to be somebody who was very socially, aware. I would not be active, but aware. But in the first 12 years of my career, I lost all of that.
Yeah.
I had no friends outside my work. I had no business outside. I had no connections outside. I could not imagine myself sitting on a Sunday afternoon, sitting like this with you, having a coffee in a place and talk about this.
Yeah.
I would have not. And I believe that if I would have started calculating how much money am I making.
Yes.
So that is quality of life. The quality of life is about you don't have to go to a 5-star hotel to spend and see how much you have earned or how much you make. But walking behind your backyard in that trail, which gives you as much peace. That's quality of life. And I think that is what Canada gives you. And that is why it is so valuable. That's why I did it. But people, friends of mine who comes from Dubai, comes from Middle East, who have earned much more than people who have come from India. When they say, I ask them sometimes, you guys make so much of money tax-free, what makes you come here? They say, we were tired of brick and mortar. We were tired of artificial stuff. We were tired of not having nature.
Yeah.
Right? So it's about your prioritization of life.
Yeah.
What do you and what would you prioritize? You have to understand why you are here, who are you, what do you really want in life, and then balance it. You cannot have both, best of both worlds. You cannot have luxury of wherever you're coming from, of having maids and drivers and everybody else doing your job, including your job search, right? Who does that?
Yeah.
And then also want all the good things of here, that you want a better climate, you want a better environment, you want better safety, religious freedom. All you cannot have.
Climate, like look at this 6 months we have borough and we have snow and
That's
cold
part.
climate.
That's the decision you took, right?
Yeah.
Because the other, if I remember correctly, 15 years back, I would cry the same thing. 9 months of so much hot, so much heat, 45 degrees,
that's true.
so much sweat. Whenever my wife cries, used to, not anymore, about snow, I used to just tell her, just think this is flood water.
Yeah.
Which one is easier?
This is heat.
Which one is better?
Yeah.
If this would have been knee-deep water, which we have all faced, is that better than this? So I think it's not about which is good, which is bad, right? It's not about that. It's about do I think that everything is good here and everything is bad back home? No. But I believe that when you go to a place and take on a place, you take both assets and liabilities of it.
Yeah.
So I think it is about, what I see is people look for shortcuts and people look for good things of both worlds.
Yeah.
You cannot have that, right? You cannot have in the summers to be here and in the winters to be there, right? You cannot have that. You can have that, then you make as much money, as much money you make, and then you can do that for sure. But before that, no, you cannot. Unfortunate, but that's how life is.
Okay, so one thing we want the viewers to get very clear about is what kind of industry is flourishing in Canada. Because like when I came, I realized I came from media industry. As usual, like I came long time back. We didn't have any opportunity to do research on Canada. So I came from media industry, which was very flourishing in India. Like it's the topmost thing.
Yeah.
Now here there is no media industry because there's no news. So what kind of industries do people should know about in Canada which are flourishing?
I think the biggest one right now, and the focus of Canada is to build it in the future, which is IT,
IT.
technology.
Yes.
It's also looking at innovation. It's also looking at very, very clearly research. So those are three scientific research. Then, if you look at more general terms, financial services in Canada is one of the largest in the world. Banking and financial services. Financial services. So overall financial services. When I say financial services, not just banking. A lot of people do not know that in Canada there are 89 banks. There are 89 financial services organizations. A lot of people think there's only 3 of them, but that's not true. Each Indian financial services, there are at least 5 or 6 different fields in which you can literally flourish if you really want to, right? And then on top of that, you also have retail, because retail is big here.
Yeah.
So retail is big, IT is very big, innovation, scientific research is small, but it's kind of growing, and then financial services is a major provider, along with telecom.
So wrapping up with the thoughts, the newcomers should not bounce around like headless chickens, like we did at times. I did at least. A lot of times I did not know which industry to go, and then I started studying, and then people come here and they don't know which industry they should be able to fit in, and they start taking OSAP loans and studying, and obviously mounting up a huge loan in debt in Canada. So I think they should be able to focus on a particular field of career which they want, and do some skills, try out their skills, and most importantly, know yourself. Like you said, know yourself is very important. What you want to do and what you can do, and what has been your dream in life. Like most importantly, think about what is your biggest dream that you have not been able to achieve in your field, and whether you can fit that with Canadian industry that you talked about, whether you can fit in over there with that. Maybe if you want to start your own financial services company, or maybe you start your own retail business here, you want to be your own boss. Like sometimes you don't want a job, but you just want to be your own boss. You always wanted to be your own boss, but some people they want to get a very good job in a good company, get good retirement benefits, good payments at the end of the month. They don't want to explore. So you have to understand what you want. Basically, that's what I fell in love with the country's hospitality, because being an immigrant myself, I never ever felt this was a different country. I'm sure you felt the same way. We never felt that this was we were in a foreign country. It was like always like it was adapted motherland. Which I forgot to include over here, which comes up directly right over here, is that the companies are looking for Canadian experience, job experience. You won't get a Canadian job experience unless you work here. So how does one?
So as I said, it's changing. It was bad 15 years back. It is changing. I have seen myself where I've recommended people, I've referred people, and they've got jobs at a very senior level. So it is not necessary you have to have Canadian experience. The whole piece is you need to tell the story. You cannot just have, I do not have Canadian experience, they're asking for it. The point is you have to go behind the scene and say, why are they asking for Canadian experience? What does Canadian experience mean for them? A lot of time it is about the culture. It is about the topography. Depending on the job, it might require you need to know the market. It might be that it needs to know the cultural understanding of the country. That job, so you need to go and find out that the job that I'm looking for, is it more technical? Or is it more cultural? Is it more demography oriented? And then understand, what will you bring on the table? How can you merge that gap? So for example, if an organization is looking for someone who has worked in Canadian marketplace to understand how a Canadian customer deals with, then you build your network, you build your volunteering experience in such a way that you can demonstrate that you have done that before. Or you can demonstrate saying that India is a very diversified country. I have worked in 3 or 4 different provinces of India, which looks like Europe, by the way. And that gives you the comfort that I can deal with whatever. Or it might say, but what I mean by Canadian experience is the qualification that you need, or the certifications that you need for the job. Then do you have those certifications? So I think you have to go one step back and ask that question, what do you really mean by
Canadian
experience.
or-
And a lot of times people do not know. Because
Yeah.
people just understand Canadian experience and just go back to it. Oh, they're asking, okay, I don't have.
And
That's not
also,
true.
I feel that people, since the world is becoming smaller, the information is shared more. Like when I came here 15 years ago, there was less people were less aware of what Indian culture was like, what Indian society. That the university in India. Preparation and knowing yourself what you want to do, and that you can also come here and learn. There's so many things in a wide when the sky is so huge, you can think a lot. You can think and understand what you really want in life, and that you don't have to have any kind of barricade, any kind of social taboo that you have to be a doctor. Like in back home, you have to be a doctor, so you cannot think that okay, I can be a singer. That those taboos are not here, so you can actually think taking a wide spectrum of your mind and understand what you really want in life and go for it. That is what Canada gives you, and I'm really happy that we had Sandeep Chaudhary today with us. You can connect him on the video, on the website and the YouTube channel that I'll give below in the description box. And please subscribe to my channel for more such content from Canada, which will be very helpful to all of you coming to Canada and living. Thank you so much for watching.
Thank you.